I gotta say, first and foremost, this film was a blast, just as much as the first one. But in comparison to the first one, this one's interesting for your characters' relationships in that you were both on very different paths, and that Laurie's in the hospital for half the movie while Allison's out hunting everybody down. I mean, what was that like for you two, from a creative standpoint, in comparison to the first film?
Andy?
It was a really fun jump to go directly from the 2018 movie directly into Halloween Kills. There wasn't much time lost. You immediately pick back up and you're starting at like 150 miles an hour, and you just kind of keep your foot on the accelerator all the way through the end. It I'm fortunate that I had a director like David Gordon Green that was able to kind of guide me through these transitions that happen so quickly for a young person like Allison to be literally in school that afternoon and then picking up a gun and going to hunt Michael Myers down, and how to make that honest and true and grounded in a way that felt accessible and real. I'm very fortunate for David Gordon Green and kind of what he brought to the table in order to help me kind of make that curve.
And of course, I'm in a fucking hospital gown for half the movie. Thank you very much, everyone.
Look damn good in it, though.
No, I do not look good in it. Nobody looks good in a hospital. Nobody looks good in a hospital gown. It's the truth. And so it was very frustrating and difficult for me because I had to, you have to restrain yourself. It's a restrained time. She was a warrior, and now she is rendered impotent. And it was challenging for me. It was also frustrating because, everybody else is, having this experience out in the world, and I don't leave the hospital. I'm in the truck, and then I'm in the hospital the rest of the movie. So it was challenging for me. It was challenging.
Thank you both so much.
Hi, Gil Macias here from Looper.com. My question is for Andy. Andy, I've read a few articles about Halloween Kills already, and I see people referring to you as a scream queen. So after Halloween Ends comes out next year, that'll be 3 Halloween films. You did Sun, you led Sun earlier this year, that horror film. I'm just wondering, do you plan to embrace that title and the horror genre? And Michael Myers has been around for 40 years. He ain't going anywhere. If he's around for another 40, do you see yourself returning to the franchise as often as Jamie Lee Curtis did?
So I believe that my on-screen grandmother is the one that kind of originated the term Scream Queen back in 1978. And to be perfectly honest, I do not feel like I have earned that title yet. I feel like I'm working my way towards it, and I will wear that badge with so much pride and so much honor when I get to that point. I feel like I'm at this point like a Scream princess. Maybe we're working our way up.
Well, if I may, your rendition of Do It, I think, elevated you to the crown. But I don't know about all y'all, but that moment in this movie is, wow.
Thank you, Jamie.
Hi, my name is Jack Duran from San Diego Red and Yahoo News. It's so great, and I feel so honored being here talking to you. My question is for both of you. If you could pick one favorite moment of the entire saga, whether if it's in front of the camera or behind it, which one would it be and why?
In this movie particularly, or the two
entire
movies?
saga, in front of the camera or behind it, behind the scenes? I don't know.
I'm going to vote that when Andy, Judy, and I are in the back of the truck in the 2021 movie. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. It was cold. We were alone in the truck because the camera department, there was a camera person outside, and we were on a rig. And I just remember the warmth of them leaning on me. Here we were, these 3 actresses, late at night on a cold night, driving back and forth in this truck. covered in blood. It's sticky. And yet there was this sort of magical feeling. I remember it very well. Andy, do you remember that
I
moment?
remember that very clearly. We also had a bucket of blood that
Oh,
was
yeah.
in the truck bed with us that was off screen, but that was pretty epic as well. I have such a fond memory for the truck bed in both movies. The first movie was the last time that the three of us were on screen together in the 2018 movie. And we all, I think, had a couple more things to film, but none that were together. And I remember being in the back of the truck in the 2018 movie, and it was the same thing. I remember David was in there holding the camera, and we were driving back and forth and just kind of letting the weight of everything fall. And for me as a person in that moment as well, it was just the weight of realizing that I'm involved in something that's this special with these two women that are so incredible and that I feel so fortunate to work with, much less call friends and mentors at this point. And then cut to 2021 movie and Halloween Kills when we're back
in the truck.
And exactly, it was one of the only, it's the only time in the movie that the three of us are together.
Yep.
And that was, again, a really powerful thing to be just leaning on each other and again, like feeling the weight of what's happening.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Brad from Film School Rejects. So much of the last film was about reclaiming your power after trauma, but in this one, of course, evil persists. And I was wondering if the two of you could discuss the challenges of maintaining that horrific history while the sequel must still go on.
Say that again?
Well, like, so the first film, the last film, is about reclaiming the power after a traumatic event.
Yes.
But Michael Myers lives after that event. And now you're having to confront that. But as an actor, you don't want to, pay due disrespect to the achievement that you did in the past film, your character achieved in the last film. So how do you reconcile with the action and the adventure of a sequel, having had that apex already?
Wow, that's a deep film school kind of question. I don't know, Andy. I would simply say that the beauty of movies is the past is irrelevant. That you're so in the present moment of each moment. Each moment leads to the next moment. And I just don't think there's a moment. This moment, there is no time for thinking for anybody. It is 0 to 60, and it's 60 for the rest of the movie. It feels very high octane, very frenzied, and I just don't think you're carrying the past with you. The shock for Laurie that Michael's not dead is so palpable and real. And Anthony is so great in that scene. He's such a terrific actor. Yes. And he brings this raw rage to this part. And, that's a scene where he was a little boy and I was his babysitter, and he says, "You protected me. I will protect you. What do we do?" And we fight. It was intense. All of it was intense. That's all I can say, is that there was no thinking for me. Andy?
Yeah, I think that part of what made that a little bit easier is the fact that it's one continuous movie. Yes. Almost. Like you start, it's basically a 4-hour movie, more or less. And if you then look at it that way, then you're picking up at Halloween Kills basically at the climax. And that's what that reads as, is that kind of intense act. And I think that there also was so much change that did happen and that is lasting. And you see then, you get to see them as a family, like a united family for the first time. You get a glimpse of it at the end of the 2018 movie, but it's really nice to get to see these women genuinely leaning on each other like they are in the back of this truck and inspiring each other. And Allison definitely picks up the torch and goes out there because she's inspired by her grandmother and she wants to do it right and do it when Laurie can't.
Thank you.
Hello, Brian Particelli from 2fab.com here. Jamie, I got to ask what your first conversation with Kyle was like after she was cast in the film, and were you kind of bummed you didn't have any scenes together?
You know what? I love Kyle. I respect Kyle. I don't know her well. She and I are not girlfriends. We don't hang out. I texted her obviously and was like, so excited to see you. Me too. When we saw each other on set, we cried. I mean, we just cried. I mean, the truth is, there's, as I said before, there are a lot of people we've lost. There's a lot of time, time and tide. Has happened for all of us. You, me, Andy, all of our friends here in the Zoom, everybody on the crew here. Life goes on and life is in session. So, I would love to be able to come up with something quippy and cute, but the truth is we cried.
Could we maybe see you together in the next one?
Well, you never know.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mir Mohammed with Gatecrashers. I just want to say congratulations on the film, both of you. Throughout the movie, and even with the 2018 movie, there's this idea of passing the torch from Laurie to Karen and even to Allison, as we see within Halloween Kills. I wanted to ask the two of you, what does this idea of the final girl mean to you two in this horror space?
Amy, you take this first.
So I had never heard the term, just so you know, I never went to film school. I'm not a film nerd. I'm a film fan, but I'm not a fan of the genre, so I'm not knee deep in it. I just participate in it. And prior to making these new Halloween films, I had, a couple years before I heard the word Final Girls. I had never heard the word Final Girls before. I didn't understand there was that, there are textbooks that talk about final girls and chainsaws, and I didn't understand really what that meant. And of course, back in 1978, Laurie just survived. I didn't know she was a final girl. I didn't know what that meant. And now, of course, that word, that term has taken on big significance. And it's about survival. And it's about the tenacity of women to survive, because the truth is women have survived through a lot, not just in horror films, in life. And I think that the badge of honor of being a final girl is obviously a badge of survival. That's what I would say. Andy?
That is very, very well said.
Okay.
I approve of your answer, Jamie.
Okay.
Well, thank you.